Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday morning, January the 6th, in the year 2025. I'm Joe Callahan. That's Dave Richards, who keeps talking, but his mic's not on, so nobody can hear him. You want to just keep talking there, Dave? But I know you're going to talk over me. That's why I shut... But I know you're going to talk over me. That's why I don't let him go on. That's Dave Richards right over there. Hi, good morning, Dave.
And we have the big shot sitting right next to me.
That's right. Hi, Melissa.
Good
She
morning.
used to be just a regular gal.
And now she's
Today
a big
she
shot.
walks in with a flavored
and
coffee
lots of
pod
static
for the
from my
coffee
giant
machine.
scarf.
A flavored coffee pod. Do we want to discuss what flavor you're brewing for yourself this morning?
Raspberry something?
Yeah,
Chocolate something?
raspberry chocolate coffee.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, yeah.
Wowie zowie.
I know. I grabbed the pod and ran out the door, so.
I guess so.
Do they sell
The
just
priority,
coffee anymore?
yeah.
Yes,
the priority
right.
was caffeine, not the flavor.
We have coffee, Joe. And that's
Right.
what we
do.
serve because we don't know what they want for flavors.
Yeah.
So we serve the basic coffee, but that's not good enough for Melissa anymore.
No.
We're just
I'm a big
giving you a
deal.
hard time. She's been drinking the regular coffee right along.
For
She must have got it
years.
for Christmas or something, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Try this
Truth
flavor.
is
You'll
out.
love 'em.
Truth is out. Christmas gift flavored coffee.
It is a Christmas flavor,
There
I
you
think,
go.
if that makes
All right.
any sense.
All righty. Well,
You want to push the button so it'll pour for her?
Sure.
Thanks,
Because
Joe.
it just warmed up. Yeah, just hit the big one.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's our Keurig coffee maker. That
Did it work yet?
Oh no, you gotta open the baler because you gotta reset the baler.
Yeah,
it's not
I messed
flashing
it up.
anymore.
I messed it up. You tried to help me, but I
There you go.
yeah,
now do
yeah.
it.
There you go.
That's the Keurig coffee maker we got as a gift from our friends at CCA.
All right.
They were so nice to us.
And everyone appreciates it.
Yeah, and now we use it and share it with everybody.
Hooray, hooray, huh? Okay. Enough about coffee.
Let's
Never
not
enough.
talk about
Never,
the Patriots
never
first
enough
thing,
about
shall we?
Yeah. Well,
Let's talk about other
no.
things.
what a day yesterday. First of all, the Patriots won.
Who'd have thunk it?
That put them on
Right.
4-13.
The Patriots C team beat the
Bills C team.
Bills B
Backups.
team, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. 4-20. I don't even know what the score was. It doesn't matter. But the Patriots won, and then
So-
they immediately fired the coach.
So the number
Yeah, I
one,
don't
the
get
number
that.
one quarterbacks came out, threw 3 or 4 passes, and then sat down for the rest of the game.
Drake May ran one series, and that was it. Josh Allen for the Bills, he didn't play at all.
Oh, he didn't even stand up.
No, they brought in their second string, and then they brought in their third string even later.
Oh,
He was dressed, but he didn't play.
so they brought
nothing.
the third string in even later.
Oh yeah.
Well, then I was right in suspecting skullduggery.
And we brought in our third string right away, and he played great.
Skullduggery, Joe.
In what?
The
by the Bills.
The Buffalo Bills did not want to see New England with the number 1 draft pick, so
That
they
is
said,
probably-
"Let's give them a game,
Yeah.
but let's not try
Try
too
too
hard.
hard."
Let's let them win if they can."
That's perfectly. That's logical.
Yeah.
That they may have done that.
Because they scored.
Being
Well,
the-
they spotted him a touchdown, and
Well,
then
yeah.
and then they went and scored twice.
It was like 26 to whatever it was. So.
Right.
So. They,
But at halftime, the Patriots were ahead.
yes, they were. Yeah. And the Patriots.
Don't forget your napkin
He
there,
did really
Melissa.
did really well. I've been corrected. Josh Allen threw one pass at the beginning of the game,
Well, yeah.
so he could start the game and have a continuous start record. Okay. Then I missed that part. I missed that completely.
Would you
know,
tune in late?
This was funny though. What some of the Bills were doing. This guy went in, and he did. 2 of them did this.
What's this guy?
A player for Buffalo
Okay.
played in the game. He was able to get. He was able to knock the ball out of the end zone.
I saw that.
Okay, and for some reason, for him
They
doing
replayed it 20 times. I saw it.
that's because the reason he got $100,000 bonus.
Yeah.
For doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you reach so many incentives are in the contracts.
Right.
So if you do this, I don't know, 20 times, let's say, and he had done it 19 times. We had to do one more, get an extra $100,000. And someone else had a running thing and ended up getting like $1 million bonus because of what he did. And then they came out. So because they're playing next week. Patriots didn't have any of that. So so the statement from the Krafts came so quickly after the Patriots lost. You know that they had already fired him before the game even started.
Yeah.
And just go out and try to win your last game with us, and then you're going. They also fired the offensive coordinator as well. So we're starting from scratch.
He's been the coach only 1 year, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're very excited
I mean,
about him.
Yes.
Is
He
it
was
typical for them to
anointed
do this?
No,
He
that's
was
unusual.
anointed by Mr. Belichick to be his successor.
Well, right. And also, I don't know anything about sports, obviously, as we all know.
I always thought you should at least give him 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Because he was given garbage for players,
Yeah.
except for 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. And so, okay, you had garbage for players this year. We'll go out and try to get other players for next year, and then see what you can do.
Right.
But
Well-
they don't. They're not even going with that. So okay.
Well, yeah. Well, the TV cameras picked up people in the stands with a big sign saying "Fire."
Oh yeah, it's a
Mayo,
fire mail,
right?
Yeah.
So there's sentiment that way, and the Krafts obliged when they wanted this Drake May guy in as quarterback, so they obliged then, and they listen to the fans, obviously, don't they?
Yeah, but the fans don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
That's right. The fans think they
And
know
so
what's going on.
That's right. But I read yesterday, and you never know.
But there's
what's
a history
true.
there of obliging the fans.
Yeah, you never know if it's true. But people were writing yesterday, and these are sports reporters, not fans, that Mayo quote lost the locker room, which means he's not in control anymore.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, then
You're done.
then you really have to go.
Yeah. You're done.
Is that true? Sure.
Yep. So anyway, but I think they left him in a good place. First of all, I entertain myself in believing that Bob Kraft's son, I forget his first name. Jonathan. All right, Jonathan, who's really in charge? I mean, okay, the owner's in charge, but Jonathan does the day-to-day more.
I don't know about that, but okay, keep
All
going.
right. So anyway, Jonathan and Bob talk, and they say, okay, we got to get somebody. Is there anybody? Well, there will be after
Today.
After right
After the firings happened today.
Yeah. So are we going to go another year, or we're not going to go another year? And they both agree we're not going to go another year with this coach.
Yeah.
But they said, well, the best we can do by him as human beings is to get him on the phone, tell him enjoy your last game, but keep it to yourself, because we're going to announce it so early ahead of every other team that you are going to be the only guy looking for a job for a few hours, and that'll give you a leg up on others. You'll get the headlines. You'll get the calls.
He might get calls from other teams.
Right.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's a way of doing something rotten and pulling the punch. And I think that's I'd like to imagine that that's what happened yesterday.
We got a note in that says, I think Dave misspoke. Dave said he was anointed by Kraft. I don't think.
Oh, no, by Belichick. Did I mean?
No, because I don't think
Did I say
Belichick
it
was
wrong?
happy that Kraft appointed him prior to Belichick leaving. He said he was
that's just a matter of style.
He was anointed by Kraft, not by Belichick. So, anyway, we're moving on. We weren't the worst team in the league, by the way.
Yeah, I
There were other
know.
teams
Who
with
was it? Cleveland?
No, Tennessee had 3 wins, and a few other teams had 3 wins. So we weren't, amazingly so, we weren't the worst. So there we go.
But we were the first to fire our coach, which is not a bad thing for the coach, because if you're looking for another job, you're the first one on the wire. Yeah.
So in part of Kraft's statement, he issued an apology to the fans because we haven't delivered a very good product in the last 3 years. And he goes, and he wants to turn it around.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that takes place.
Well, you got a guy who's proven that he'll spend to get.
Yes.
He'll make an investment. It's not just like, oh, I'm afraid to put any money in because it might not come back. You see a lot of owners like that. This guy is bold when it comes to an investment he has confidence in. So he will spend the money. And then when you look at it and you see that the league rules allow him to spend probably more money than almost anybody else in the league to get somebody who comes up on the block, then those are two good things for the fans.
Well, we'll see what
Not for the radio and television announcers. They're going to have to figure out other people's names and memorize the new roster from scratch.
We'll see what happens when as time moves along. I wonder if they will announce a coach first before the draft day. They'll probably do that because draft day isn't until March.
Well, isn't the coach supposed to be involved in those decisions?
Not necessarily, and they're keeping the guy that makes those decisions. Elliot Wolf, the player personnel guy.
Oh, I remember him.
He's not going. So
He's not going.
And sometimes they take the coach's word, coaches into consideration, and sometimes they don't. So I don't know what they're going to do here. All depends on what they make out.
Yeah, it's the president of operations or something like that does it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Other thing, we'll move away from the Patriots. I'm glad they won.
Yes, please, because I'm driving people nuts by what they think I don't know, and they think it's easy to victimize me on anything I say about sports. When I talk about sports, friends, I'm talking about people, and I could be wrong on sports facts, but I don't know.
All right. Did you see the video of the alleged?
Melissa's just smiling. She says, "I got a lightning rod over there. They're gonna go after him. I don't have to say a word."
I don't know anything about sports, so.
There you go.
Have you seen the video of the
Neither
alleged
do I, but I talk.
road rage incident in Attleboro?
No.
Oh,
no.
God.
Have you seen it? Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I
seen it.
haven't.
Okay, so people say, "Oh, it takes place at the corner of Newport Avenue and Highland Avenue," and people are like, "Well, where's that?" Robert's Tuxedos in Attleboro.
Yep.
It happened in their parking lot.
Oh.
That's right. Okay, so the way I understand it is the woman rear-ended the guy. There was a car accident. Mm-hmm. He not amused, and he's about 6'5". She's about 5 feet and 120
But she
pounds.
came out giving him lip.
No, he came out, from what I saw.
Oh, yeah?
He's
So she
joining
rear-ended
her.
him. He's upset.
And then he picks her up, and body slams her
What?
on the concrete. I mean, not like I'm going to gently lay you down. I mean, it was smashed.
Broke her knee, broke her foot, broke her head,
A
and,
skull fracture and a concussion.
Oh my
and
God.
an eye
It's like,
injury.
wow.
There's something wrong with this guy, right?
So yeah, they say he was arguing with the woman before he picked her up, body slammed her onto the concrete, fractured knee, fractured foot, head laceration, eye injury, concussion, broken skull. He's been arrested. He's at the Bristol County House of Corrections. Mm-hmm.
That's the appropriate place.
He's from Pawtucket.
Right.
She's
just
she's,
down
where
the
is she from?
street.
Yeah, that is right down the street. She's from Massachusetts, but a little fender bender turned into this wild melee.
Right. Over a car.
Well, you scratched my fender.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
Fenders are replaceable.
So yeah, this was
Skulls are not.
and they once you get hit in the head, sometimes you lose your memory. And she they talked to her. The news media talked to her. She goes, I remember being picked up, saying I'm in trouble, waking up in the hospital.
Yeah, how
And
terrifying.
I'm like,
what do you
uh-oh.
even do?
At this point, because he's got you up and now you're upside down.
Yeah, you
It's
just
like-
cover, right, if you can. You
If
don't know which
can,
way you're going to land.
You don't know where he's going to throw
yeah,
you.
Yeah, that's wild.
So yeah, that was so he's been arrested. So that's good that he's behind
Yeah,
bars for
that's
this.
good.
We had a
And his truck
fire in
still
North
has a
Smithfield.
dent in it.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll worry
right.
about that later.
Right. Not the worst of his problems anymore.
We had a fire in North Smithfield yesterday morning on Greenville Road. Structure fire. No one was home at the time.
Down the street from where the beef barn used to be.
Yeah, is that where it
Yeah.
is? Okay. It's an
Used to be.
It's an empty house. Right.
Yeah.
Empty house. They're
Okay.
working on it.
Yeah.
So no one was home. But no word yet on what started the fire. And there was significant damage from smoke and soot.
Yeah.
Cause of the fire is still under investigation.
It's so dry right now. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
came in, I just had a scarf on. My hair was all staticky out to here.
Yeah. Look,
It's-
what was our temperature this morning? 20 degrees,
20
and there's
degrees.
no frost. That
Yeah.
gives you an idea how little humidity there is in the air. I saw 12%. That is like
Very,
wicked,
very dry. All I
wicked
need is a little
dry.
spark.
Yeah, it could be loose cigarette or a flame or someone.
If they were doing work
they're
on the house, it could have been
working
anything.
the house.
Spontaneous chemical combustion.
Yep.
Yep.
if anyone's burning outside, flame sparks go up in the air, and like that. So
That happened to a
okay.
colleague of mine in a couple summers ago. Someone was working on their house. They were somewhere else. They had moved out a little for them to do the renovations. Luckily, and so then their dogs were there, and it was rags that they were using. They put them in a pile. It was in the summer, and spontaneous combustion. They saw it on their camera that it just poof.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. And,
Watching it from somewhere else.
Chemical reactions.
yep.
Very
Yep.
powerful.
So you never know what's going to happen. It's just one of those freak things.
Wow. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee Aid program. More coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240. Who should be the next head coach of the New England Patriots? I think it
Melissa
should be
Murray.
Melissa
Not
Murray.
me.
Guys, go out there and score a touchdown.
Just
That's all you got to tell 'em.
do your thing.
Do what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
This is an ad about a self-made team. Me. See, I go to school, I do my chores, but I also have my own goals. I'm saving what I earn from making radio ads like this one to buy a gaming computer, and I'm using my Embark account to do it. With no fees, mobile banking, and a money management tool, it's like a spend account, but a lot smarter. So if you're a self-made teen like me, I suggest you get one too. The Embark account, banking for the self-made teen. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and with Dave Richards. Well, I saw this late yesterday, and I'm seeing it a little more information on it today. I don't know if Melissa's heard about it. I don't know if
Further
Dave has heard about it. Yeah, but it seems that the Park Avenue location, the Ocean State job lot, is closing.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that. Yes.
I didn't hear it until yesterday.
Well, what was it, Friday night that Denise and I went? Stores, signs all over
Signs
the
are
place.
up already?
Yep, store closing,
50%
everything
off.
30% off.
Well, now it's 50.
Is it 50
It's
now?
moved to 50.
What do you know?
But back up just a little bit, Dave. The Greenville Road fire.
Glad I didn't buy that that I was looking at.
Someone called in 766-1240.
Yeah.
The fire in North Smithfield on Greenville Road.
Yeah.
You said it's down the road from where the beef barn used to be.
Yeah.
About how far down would you say? Someone just wants to know where it's located.
Fairly
Before
close.
146?
Fairly close. Oh, way before 146. Before, Francois Boulevard. Wait a minute. I shouldn't use names of the streets because I don't bother. But isn't Meadows the barber shop, the
Meadows,
hairstyler?
yeah.
It's
on the right-hand side.
It's right. It's north of that toward Woonsocket.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not very far
Not
down
very far.
Greenville Road from Union Square, and I think it's on the left as you head south toward North Smithfield High School. I think I know the house. I wasn't there though, but I recognize the house.
Okay. Just trying to take a quick look at what's going on in Ocean
Again,
State
we
job
try to
lots,
be helpful
Facebook
even if we
page.
don't know what we're talking about.
So
Well,
I just
everybody was
heard
worried
through-
about
yeah,
this.
I-
Everybody was
heard-
worried
yeah,
about that
yeah.
when they opened up on Diamond Hill Road. Oh my goodness, they're going to close down Park Square. And they said, well,
Which
yeah,
I
we don't have
love
any
the Park
reason to
Square.
close down Park Square right now.
Yeah.
But
They raised the rent on them.
That's what
The
I'm
rent was
hearing.
raised. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing the plaza was sold,
Yeah.
and now the rents are sky high. And so
But,
they're
but
getting-
D'Angelo's
they're
had a lease already, like a 5-year lease, and I guess the other leases were coming up, and they just decided they didn't want to pay the increased rent. But the other location's still going to be open.
So what about like the Dollar Tree?
I don't know about that
And
status of their store.
Does this include where? Because there's two buildings. So does this include where
Right.
AutoZone and Dr. Jeffrey Dodge is?
Not sure.
yeah, that's all the same plaza.
Okay.
I
It's
would
all owned
think
by
so.
one-
I think so.
So,
Yep.
and well, it's too bad because
I love that location.
just
so convenient.
well, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
People in this area of town.
I was telling Denise
the
that.
job lot is right there. How convenient is it?
When
Well, now you got to go to Diamond Hill Road.
Now we have to go all
the way
across
across the city. And I know it's not that far.
not,
And it's
it's
a
not.
5-minute, well, probably a 10-minute drive with the lights. And it's not that far.
maybe a little-
But if you don't have a
yeah.
car, now it's inconvenient.
Correct. That's the big thing. Yep.
Yep. Way inconvenient.
Yeah.
But, what are you going to do? So I mean, you
Well,
can't.
not much. Yeah.
Anybody that thinks that they can just come in and do what they want without any pushback, well, you'll find out that that's not the case. But you know what they'll do is that job lot will move out, and the owners will find somebody else for the space. I hope.
Maybe.
Yeah, me
They,
too.
they never really found anybody to take over the bank location.
Right.
And
Maybe they were asking too much.
and the CVS location that opened up, they I mean, Spirit
Yeah,
Halloween
for
is
2
not what
months.
I
Yeah.
right,
However
exactly.
long they are.
So you look at all that and you say, okay, fine. It's not going to be an easy location to fill, but when you first take something over and you pay all that much money, you know you've got to get more income off the place in order to, the guy that sold it to you doesn't have the mortgage that you got, to operate the place. So they're going to have to raise the money somehow. Raising the money by throwing tenants out wouldn't be my first choice. Probably not their first choice either. But they got to know that at the very least, the federal government will come to their aid, because if they lose money because the tenants leave during the interim for a few years, they can take it as a tax write-off of business laws for a certain number of time, and then the federal government gets cranky and says, "No, you better stop making money with this process because you're not going to take anything off anymore." So people with that kind of dough, Joe, and that kind of business, they know the game.
Well, look what Ocean State Job Lot has done over the last couple of years.
I know.
Once Christmas tree shops closed, they went into these much
Yeah.
bigger square foot stores.
Yeah,
The one over here on Park Square,
they can't make it any bigger.
I know they can't go any bigger, and it's tiny compared to
It
even
is.
compared to the Diamond Hill store.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
And they said that's it. We're getting out of all the tiny stores.
And the food that they donate and the goods
know.
that they donate, they're so philanthropic. They're just a really
Hell
good
of a company. I wish them
really
well.
good local company. Yep.
But you can't expect that they're going to open up another location near us when they
No.
have
No.
when they have
No.
the other one.
Yeah. There's no need to.
Yeah, you might think that they would, but I don't see it.
No, I don't either.
I just don't see it. There's nothing. I mean, they got one at Lincoln Mall.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
So
bigger. Much bigger.
That's when they opened up Diamond Hill Road. They said, "Oh, once Park Square's going to go because you got Lincoln Mall, you got the north end of Woonsocket."
Is there room in Darling Village?
No.
I don't think so.
There isn't.
Everything's taken, isn't it?
Yeah, they're in the final phases of developing Darling Village. There's no piece of land big enough to make a bigger
them, no.
store in that footprint, because they've already put all their residentials in. They developed out near the road. They're putting in the final buildings there. Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay. Well, I hope the workers all get transfers.
That's what I
If you
heard.
want-
The only
Yep,
place-
that they're
You wanna
all
go
going to
to
go
Diamond
to
Hill, go
different
to Diamond
different
Hill.
stores.
The only place
Yep.
nearby that would be big enough for them to go to, if it were vacated, and it isn't because it's being used by somebody now, is the U-Haul place. People have no idea how honkin' big that place is.
Which U-Haul place?
Well, just
I'm trying to
if
picture
you're
it.
coming to work, Joe, coming off 295 and up 146,
Yeah.
and you get down to where it's 35 miles an hour,
Uh-huh.
and you pass the old Smithfield Road, right on the right-hand side, very next thing is the U-Haul
Oh,
place.
okay. Now I can
Used to
picture it.
be
Yeah.
but
they're
used
using
to be
it.
a cooking
Yeah.
distribution center, a cooking ware of pots and pans and stoves and stuff. And that's just before the high tension power lines, and then there's the driveway
The
to go
entrance
up.
to Darling Village. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that place is physically large enough. But would they bother doing it with Lincoln and Woonsocket so close?
Right there. Yeah.
Well, and U-Haul still using it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and they don't show any signs of giving
Storage units, storage units.
There's one across the street too
Yep.
from that
Yep.
U-Haul.
Yep.
Yeah.
across 146.
Can we talk about storage units for a moment? Because I had a
sure.
Okay.
Are you concerned about storage units?
I am.
Are these things that
These
keep
are
you
things
up at night? Storage units?
Yes.
What about-
yes.
All right.
Yes.
Tell me
So I will. So I have a storage unit from when I downsized, and I had to move.
My daughter
and-
has one too.
Yep. Couldn't find, it took me a long time to find an apartment in my district that fit my needs. And I found one that doesn't really fit my needs. So I have a storage unit, a small storage unit. In the time that I've had that unit, in a year and a half, they have increased my rent 3 times, even though I have done nothing and I have paid on time every time. So I get another, I think it started off at like $40. I get a notice. Oh, we're going to increase your storage fee to $85. This is the most recent one.
Yeah.
And so I called them and I said,
I don't mean to pry, but is that like per quarter, per
month,
twice a year?
per month, per month,
month.
per
yeah.
month.
Per month.
So,
So it's more than doubled.
yep, this is what they do. It's very predatory, these things. I just don't like them. And the only reason they're like booming right now is because of the housing crisis. That is my very firm opinion. And they're taking advantage of folks. So I called them and I said, oh, well, okay, then I'm just going to move my stuff out because I can get the same size. I can actually get a larger storage unit somewhere else for $90. So why would I pay you $85? It's a 5x5. It's the smallest one because I don't need, I just need it for my,
Yeah,
traveling
just a
stuff,
few
right?
things that didn't work. Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, hold on one second. We're going to put in a request for you to not get for your increase to not happen." So they put it in. They call me back. "Oh, you're all set. You're going to stay at the regular rate. All you had to do was call." Most people won't call,
Oh no.
Right.
Yeah. They
so
sound
they'll
like-
just increase it and
Yeah,
increase
it's-
it and increase it
That's right.
they sound
until
like
they
the-
price you out and you can't pay it, and then they'll auction off your stuff for money, and then they'll get someone else in and do the same
They sound
thing.
like the cable company.
Yeah.
Just threaten to leave. And they, oh, don't do that.
Right. That's all. So folks, if you have a storage unit, and many of you probably do, just call them and say you're not going to pay.
Yeah.
Well, not that you're not going to pay. What
Or
I
you're
said
gonna
was
leave.
I'm going to move out.
Right.
I'm going to get. I said I don't have a lot of stuff. I've
Yeah.
never paid on time. They said, oh yes, your payment, is 100% on time. I said, okay, well then I'm just going to move somewhere else, get their rate because I don't have that much stuff, and then when they bump me up, and I'll just move somewhere else. There's so many options. So I
Yeah.
said,
That's
okay.
right, that's right,
So
yeah.
call and threaten to leave.
Every
and
time,
they'll give
every time you move, they always got the rent free for a
right,
month.
Free for a month, right?
A similar
One
situation.
trip for me. It take me, 15 minutes of my time. Okay, I'll do
Wow.
it. I know other people have big storage units, but
Right.
A similar situation happened to me when
Or a
I was
racket.
raising the family out in Burrillville. The local operator, Mr. Valia, who had installed my heating system when we built our house in 1978, and all the rest of this stuff went years and years and years, and he would deliver the oil and all the rest of that. And you never even bothered worrying about that. Well, he wanted to retire, so we did, and he sold to a big company out of Providence, whose name I won't say because I don't want to pay for lawyers' children's braces and stuff like that.
At college education.
Yeah, a college education for their kids, right. So it sold out to a large statewide company. And besides, I have to spit every time I say their name. So he says, I sold to these folks. They're going to take care of you, stuff like that. Okay, great. So a year or so goes by, and I'm not paying that much attention because Denise pays the bills. And then I look at the slip is in the door from when they delivered oil. And I'm looking at now I expect things go up over time. I'm paying more than $1 per gallon more for home heating oil than I was when Mr. Valier owned the company. $1.05. And I says, wait a minute, let's go shopping. And I found another company to deliver the oil, and I called up this company. I don't want to spit. And I said, hey, you guys have been screwing me on the price ever since you took over Valier's company, and you're done. In fact, I'm going to tell everybody I know what happened. I'm not going to do it over a radio station, but I'm going to tell everybody I know to stay away because all of my neighbors were all Valuers customers, and you're doing the same thing to them. And I think the lady on the other end says, "Oh, we're sorry you're unhappy. We could give you a better price." I said, "What do you mean, give me a better price? If you could have given me a better price, why did you take that money out of my pocket to begin with?"
Because they can.
Right. And I said, "For pity's sake, no, I can't do business with people who do business that way. You're predatory." I said, "And I won't do business with a company that won't give someone a fair deal. And to wait till I call up and cancel service, and then you're going to give me a better deal?" I mean, the same thing happened with Sirius XM.
Everything.
Because I got it thrown in when I bought the car, and I didn't want it, and I didn't ever use it. But they, well, hey, don't cancel because we'll give you this kind of right. No, it just happens. So people have to stand up for themselves.
They do. Always call.
Yeah, right.
In my cases, I will usually find a replacement first. So you're dealing from a position of strength. You already have a deal to exit, and then you talk to them.
Exactly what I did.
Right. Have a deal to exit
For
because
$5 more, I could get a twice as
Yeah,
large,
twice as big,
right?
so- Right.
So, okay.
you just want to be sure that you're not painting yourself into a corner before you engage
Yeah.
the predatory pricing.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, and more coming up. But it is time for a look at the weather forecast being brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
I've been looking at it all right.
Gradually becoming mostly sunny today with a high of 29 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 14. Tuesday's weather, sunshine and a high of 27. Wednesday, sunny and 26. Thursday, mostly sunny and 28 for a high. Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 37. Saturday, partly sunny with a high of 35. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 35 degrees.
And outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with the cloudy skies, we're up to 22 degrees. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Information at positivecoach.org.
Our family caring for your family. The Holiday Retirement Home is a skilled nursing and rehabilitation facility with a home-like atmosphere where laughter is the best medicine. The Holiday keeps their patients and residents involved in varied activities and events so they have the opportunity to live life to the fullest. The Holiday Retirement Home has their own in-house physical, occupational, and speech therapy staff with more than 300 years of combined experience. Stop in for a tour. The Holiday is right off Route 99 on Sales Hill Road in Manville, and for more information, you can visit their website at holidayretirement.com.
Every winter, the state of Rhode Island prepares for the winter season, and we want you to be prepared as well. At the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency, our top priority is keeping everyone safe, so we want to remind you to be prepared for the ice, cold, and snow. Keep an emergency supply kit, have a communications plan, and stay informed. Find more information at riema.ri.gov or visit us on social media. Brought to you by the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Hey, it's Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. And I guess the mayor got caught up somewhere else. So,
Well, he's a busy
It
man.
happens,
Come Monday
so-
morning, he's got people who want a piece of him, I'm sure.
All right. Anyway, so sad news over at the Capron Park Zoo in Attleboro. One of their lions died on New Year's Eve. But Navalia,
He's been with him for like almost
30 years.
That's
Yeah,
a long time.
Was it 30 years?
that's what I read.
20 years.
It lived well beyond her expected years.
She was born in 04 and went to the zoo
Wow,
in
okay.
05.
Yep.
Born in
And
captivity
so
or no?
It doesn't say where she was born, but they are going to do their
But lived
necropsy.
virtually their entire life
Yeah.
But,
in Attleboro.
From what I understand,
Even I wouldn't do that.
it just died of natural causes. So
Right.
but nothing against the Capron Park Zoo. It's very nice, but I've seen the lion enclosure over there, and it's not very big.
That's not a way for a wild
It's-
animal to live. I hate zoos.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say it. I understand that it's great for kids to appreciate nature and have an appreciation for the animals, but that poor lion that lived 30 years in a
And last I knew there were 3 of them. There was a male and 2 females.
that's not a way
And
for a wild
they just
animal
kind
to
of lay
live.
around on the rocks all day because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You can't let them out at night and let them roam around for a while. It's like, it's too bad. Alrighty, so what do you think, Melissa? You're the politician here.
Am I
Sometimes. Part-time.
just part-time in air
For-
quotes?
It's your
former.
part-time job.
Well, what do you read into this?
It's like working for a ball club.
Former Providence Mayor Joe Paolino
Mm-hmm.
intends to run for Democratic National Committee Vice Chair.
And he would not have said it if he didn't have a reasonable assurance that he
he's
had a
gonna win it.
chance at it.
Right.
He believes that, quote, the Democratic Party got away from kitchen table issues, real issues that affect families during the 2024 campaign.
You think?
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Palin was mayor of Providence 1984 to 1991. So do you think he's got
Let's see. What were
higher
the big issues
aspirations?
in this presidential
Oh, yes,
campaign?
of
The big
course.
issues were, no, you mean we can't get him in jail before he runs for office? And, nah, Joe, you gotta step down this time. There really wasn't much discussion over what they were going to do. All they had on their plate was that, oh, hey, we got Kamala doing it now.
We're
So
not him.
You're gonna
Right.
love us because we're not Joe. We're not an old white guy, and you know that old white guy who was running on the other party. He's no good. You're gonna hate it. You're all gonna die. Your babies are gonna lose their teeth. I mean, this is all they did. That is not kitchen table issues. That's not what mom and dad have to deal with every day to raise a family. And so,
Yeah, I ran on
shame
kitchen,
on both
I ran on
parties.
kitchen table issues because that is what matters to
Most
the people here. I mean, like my constituents, when they don't, when I go to their doors, they're talking to me about those issues that, am I going to be able to stay in my home? I can't afford
Right.
groceries. Those kinds of things. Should we be thinking about the larger long-term issues? Yes, but the Democrats didn't really do a great job.
So when do they vote for
The
Democratic
Republicans
National
didn't
Committee?
do a very good job. They let Trump figure out.
That's true.
all right,
Well,
all the
that goes
issues
with
that the
saying that
Republican
Trump
Party.
didn't do a
Let's
very
look
good
at
job.
all the issues the Republican Party's brought out. First of all, we're not Democrats, so we're a whole lot better because they're a bunch of creeps, and they're gonna your baby's teeth are gonna fall out, and you're all gonna die, and stuff like that, and you're gonna die in poverty if you let the Democrats keep running, and then calling them names. I mean, they let Trump actually set the agenda. Mm-hmm. And
Not a
usually the party gives the candidate the agenda.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, party politics is sunk to a new low.
So when do they
Would
vote
you
for
want to be in charge of it?
No. When do they vote for this?
I'm not sure.
The Democratic National Committee Vice Chair position.
I'm not
Convention,
certain.
right? They come together for a convention or a caucus or something like that?
The National Committee? I
They
don't
don't
know
just
what
have
the
like
timeline is.
an email listserv and say, okay, who do you want?
So look for him to win that and
Yeah.
maybe go on to bigger and better things.
Eyeing
And then
higher
yeah.
aspirations, yeah.
Down in West Greenwich, just a very bizarre. 4 people were shot
Yeah.
in one home. It looks like a murder-suicide. Because they keep coming out, there's no threat to the public and like that. And from what I hear, it's 2 adults and 2 kids.
Yeah. Terrible.
They haven't come out with, they're not coming out and saying that just yet, but that's what it looks like. That's going on down there. I'm like, well, that's you hate to hit when stuff like that happens. It's like, yikes.
Right. Not just taking your own life, but taking the life of your
Of the
family and
family, yeah.
children.
They're still investigating this.
That's tragic.
The shooting had happened on Cheyenne Trail, if you're familiar with the West Greenwich area. So,
No.
But okay. So if you're going to steal a police car, one of the worst things I think you can do is leave the state. Because they're going to notice
That's a police
why is
car
that
from
car-
another county or
Yeah.
A man
In your own state,
Pawtucket,
the state police will say, "Don't wreck the car."
a man from Pawtucket allegedly steals
Connecticut don't care.
a Providence police cruiser
Let's wreck the car.
and then drives to Connecticut. Now the cops in Connecticut are going to say, "Why is there a Providence police car
Right.
in our town?"
right.
You're going to stand out.
Just put the
So-
sirens on and let them know. Like, you may as well.
So Jared Remsen's been charged with reckless driving, engaging police in pursuit, failure to drive in the proper lane, first-degree larceny, and resisting arrest. Connecticut State Police say he was driving at speeds of more than 100 miles per hour, because you can.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
police cars, they get up to that speed very quickly. Down there, before Ledyard Police, which is where Foxwoods
Yeah,
is
that's
near.
okay, so he got pretty far.
They had to use stop sticks to get him to stop, and then he was taken into custody. He's expected in New London, Connecticut today.
Yeah. He'll be in lots of different places, facing lots of different charges.
But it makes you wonder. And I know the police, when they go up to whatever they got to go up to, and whatever kind of incident's going on, they leave the cars running. And so it's easy to hop in and just take off if no one's really paying attention.
Theoretically, but most people know better.
Well, most people, that's
too.
right. Most people do.
Oh,
well-
I'll just take this running police car and no one will notice. No one will find me.
They're all low-jacked. They all have
right,
We
GPS.
know
right.
we know where you're going.
Yeah, they all have
Yeah, of
GPS in them,
course.
and they
Of course
have them
they
for
do.
their course of their regular business because it's an asset of the community. It's operated by a city employee,
Right, you need
and
to know
so
where they
you
are.
have
Yeah, no problem.
complete control and knowledge of where that car is, and it may be very important to know where that car is if the radio goes out
Mm-hmm.
or something, or the officer goes missing or something else like that.
Right,
So
someone needs
it's
help,
all
right,
wired
backup,
for
yeah.
everything. Believe me, it's about the stupidest thing you can do. And of course, they leave them running because there's so many electronic devices in there.
Yeah.
That starting and stopping raises havoc with the electronic devices. And they have to reboot again. They have to reconnect to the mothership again and all the rest of this stuff. So, you just leave the dang thing running.
Sure.
Don't steal a police car, folks.
Yeah, that's.
Don't do it.
But I'm sure whoever was driving that police car is going to get a little ribbing from the other police officers that your car was stolen, kind of thing. Police officers do that,
Yeah.
for laughs. But okay. But they caught him, and it's funny because he's probably heading down 95. There's a state police barracks right down there.
Yeah.
Rhode Island State Police Barracks. Maybe they're just out and about and didn't see him.
Maybe.
So, this is a state police cruiser, or was it a
It was
Providence.
a Providence police cruiser.
Providence
he
police
took.
cruiser? Okay, fine.
But decided to go. He was going to Foxwoods, I guess.
But they.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah, it was
larceny, right? So
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he went to Ledyard, didn't he?
Well, the Ledyard police put down the stop sticks.
Oh, yeah.
To get him. I don't think he was going to Foxwoods.
No.
But that's just happens where Foxwoods happens to be.
But that's over $1,000 worth of damage,
On those
Oh.
tires?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't put the cheap tires on those cruisers.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And on top of that, heaven knows what would go wrong with the rims. You have to buy an entire
Yeah.
wheel.
Yep.
Possible undercarriage damage.
If there is any,
because
yeah.
Because of the deflated tires will bring that car 3 to 4 inches lower to the pavement, and heaven knows if the car would flip over upon the insistence of the driver to continue going. So yeah, it's not an easy decision. Oh yeah, just put out the stop sticks. Maybe Connecticut wouldn't be quite as conflicted about it as Rhode Island would be, but
Right.
because
right.
it's our
Not
tax
theirs.
dollars,
Not coming
they
out of
have
our
to
money.
replace the right.
But maybe they tried to pull him over, and it's just he wouldn't stop. So okay, we gotta go
okay.
up to
Last
drastic
resort.
measures. Yeah.
Well,
Here we
that's
go.
one of the charges. He engaged in
Yes,
pursuit.
pursuit, that's right.
He initiated a pursuit by not stopping
So
for
made
a lawful
So
command.
he made a super bad decision and followed up and doubled down with just
Yeah.
more bad decisions. I mean, at that point, I guess he probably figured, well, I've already stolen a police car, so I
So,
may as well
Marie-
just.
Malloy tells Reed, switch over to the Providence frequency. Hello, you in the car? Pull over.
Pull over.
Things are gonna end badly.
We know you're not a cop.
Right.
All right, we're going to take another break here on the Coffee and program. Please stick around. More coming up. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Are you looking for solutions to meet your business banking needs? At Milford Federal, the longest-standing community bank in the area, they offer customized solutions for commercial lending, cash management, online banking, and payment processing services. Their business banking team is committed to the growth and success of your business with local decision-making and a relationship-based approach. Let Milford Federal be your banking partner. Visit them at milfordfederal.com today. Milford Federal Bank, our community, your bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, and MLS number 465956.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at woonsocketradio.com.
You can depend on us for public service, ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. My name's Joe Callahan. Dave Richards is here. Melissa Murray's here as well. And here's the good news, okay? A new study shows teenagers are using less drugs, less alcohol, and less tobacco.
And more video games.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
They're replacing it with endorphins from video games.
Replacing with vapes and social media.
An annual survey is taken by the University of Michigan since 1975, examined the responses of nearly 24,000 middle school and high schoolers across the U.S. More than a half of high school seniors reported not using alcohol, marijuana, cigarettes, or e-cigarettes in the past 30 days, which is the most.
That's great.
Since 2017.
That's great.
The abstinence rate in high school sophomores was even higher at 80%, reaching a record, and 90% of middle schoolers reported no use, which is in line with the last survey taken. So
that's good.
Well, you know, we're starting at birth now, and sometimes
asking the
before
children at birth, have you taken anything?
Considering, the chemicals and things like that in your body and during gestation and all the rest of that. So there, even before the kid, and from the time the kid can even listen, we're preaching to the kid, it don't word it, kid. It don't word it. Don't do it. I know your friends might want to do it, but listen, you be the shining star. We'll love you forever. Don't do that. And like that. So maybe it's getting through.
Mm-hmm. And the fentanyl messaging, right? That like, if you even try something, there could be fentanyl in it, and you just try it, and it can kill you because these folks.
I mean, you're just having fun.
Are you cutting fentanyl into drugs, and it even could look like an over-the-counter drug. So, like, if you don't know where it came from, don't take it.
Plus, I can imagine you tell the kids, look, you know, you can die, but you know, kids don't have a realization of death really for a while anyway, until life circumstances teach them what all that's about. But they do have an earlier understanding of being, a vegetable, not being able to go and do what they want to do because they have a handicap, and the drugs will do that to your brain. So that might be, they might be seeing the wisdom in it all.
Yeah, I see a lot of commercials pushing that messaging that I never saw before.
Yeah. Well, and also, this took place on Friday. Alcoholic beverages companies took a stock hit on Friday following the U.S. Surgeon General's recommendation to add cancer warning labels on alcohol products. So Boston Beer Company, they produce Angry Orchard, Truly Hard Seltzer, Sam Adams, and Twisted Tea, saw nearly a 4% drop. Canadian-American brewer Molson Coors, they produce Miller Lite and Coors Light. Their stock fell 3%, and Jack Daniel's whiskey fell 2.5% in trading value. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy said alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. behind tobacco and obesity. Murthy warned that alcohol raises the risk for 7 types of cancer affecting the breast, colorectum, esophagus, liver, mouth, throat, and voice box.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It covers a lot. So, okay.
Yes.
So now it's just a warning label, but who does this have to be voted on by the Congress and Senate, and
No, the Federal Trade Commission can do stuff like that.
just throw a label on the
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
single
but I
one?
mean, the bureaus don't do anything that Congress might overturn, so they have to count votes, see if they got a firm foundation, and then they'll issue their
Decree.
their business. Yeah, and of course, if the president didn't agree with them, then they'd all be looking for jobs too. So what they do, they have the ability to announce that and to prescribe a course of action and a rule and a regulation, but they really can't go against the rest of the government against it. So you could imagine that they've got support before they come out and say something like this,
All right.
because that's the kind of baloney we heard, during the 50s and 60s about cigarettes, and they just kept getting louder and louder and louder, and then you had to put the warning labels on, then you couldn't advertise them on the radio and the TV, and they're just one thing after another trying to get rid of the cigarettes, and they really still didn't get it done until they gave the tobacco companies enough time to diversify into other businesses
Right.
so that tobacco was a minority part of their business, and they weren't going to fight losing it.
Do you think the it'll ever come to the point where there'll be a no alcohol on advertised on TV and radio anymore, like tobacco?
That's harder to say, Joe, because
There's so much of it,
television
right?
and radio, regulated by the FCC, is a small minority of the electronic communications that there is out there.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to have the same bang for the buck that it did with cigarettes 50 years ago, 50 plus years ago. It's not going to have the same effect to ban the advertising.
I can see it happening, though. I can maybe not right away.
Well, only
but
because,
as,
we
right.
can beat you up because you're so small now, broadcasting industry. You
No,
know?
no, because now that this warning is saying, okay, alcohol gives you cancer, and so that's how it starts, right? And then they're saying, like, okay, now we don't want children to see advertisements on television or with alcohol.
Yeah.
Which you basically can't watch the Super Bowl, right? So,
Well, I was thinking about the alcohol that advertised at stadiums,
Yeah.
like Busch Stadium,
Right.
That's in St. Louis.
right.
And what do we do with the Milwaukee Brewers?
Oh no, they can't.
But you
stop-
can still
they can't
advertise
stop
your
that.
No?
But they can
All
stop.
right.
They can stop the government-regulated broadcast industry from using it.
Yeah.
But
You
you know
say-
what they won't regulate? They won't regulate those commercials that said, ask your doctor about,
That's right.
which they should do.
Was that big?
Oh my gosh, the jingles and every
Oh,
every
yeah.
single
Everybody
yeah,
knows them.
no other country has that.
I know that. Yeah, I know.
It's terrible. It's drug companies, but they won't do that.
All right.
Now I'm being cynical.
Well, that's the problem. There's too many TV channels out there, he says, as he's about to launch a new one. There's too many TV channels out there, and they all have to be funded. So the broadcasting industry, I believe, is complicit with that because you just can't not have the money coming in.
Yeah.
And if these people want to stuff money in your hands to say nice things about the drugs that are legal, then you're going to look and you're going to swallow hard and you're going to go home and not even watch your own TV channel because you can't stand watching those things. But, I mean, it's a business decision then afterwards. I get that. And that's nobody, there's nobody thinks it's right. There's nobody thinks it's right. But what can you say? But as far as alcohol is concerned, well, we all know that there have been for more than 200 years staunch groups of people who want to see alcohol illegal. They got a little they got a little ahead of themselves and full of themselves back in the early part of the 20th century, and
Didn't work out so
they
well.
thought they were doing really, really well. Unfortunately, they spawned an entirely different industry and emboldened alcohol use.
Don't tell me what not to do.
Yeah. So, it didn't work out so well in the long run. Whenever intolerant people get their way, society has a way of showing them how stupid they were. So I'm totally against it. In fact, I'll go on record as saying I'm intolerant about intolerance.
All right. Well, be glad you're not this
Are we
woman.
having fun yet?
A
I'm
woman,
having a whale of a lot of fun. I can't do this at home.
a woman from Southern California was shocked to find out that she has been pronounced dead when she wasn't. At least,
Yeah, right.
at least according to the Social Security Administration,
Not
and they're
quite dead yet.
always right.
Remember that from Monty Python and the Holy
Well,
Grail?
I'm not dead. I'm not dead
quite
yet.
Dead yet.
It's a rare error that Barbara Smith of Costa Mesa, California, has been trying to correct since the agency stopped sending her monthly benefits checks
Oh, no.
last September because she supposedly died in Boise, Idaho. The mistake led to the 81-year-old bank's account being frozen.
Oh no, that's even
Therefore, you're not
worse.
getting your money. Ultimately, she spent hours on the phone with a Social Security representative
Now she can't pay her phone bill.
who eventually asked her, this is funny, can you please take a photo of yourself holding your driver's license and a piece of paper stating I'm alive?
That is not. That may be amusing, but that is
That's
effective. That could
scary.
be effective.
This is me.
This is me,
But
and
if you
I'm
did
alive.
it right now and texted it to
Yeah.
them right now,
Yeah.
the immediacy of it all would lend credibility to it.
They're asking what an 81-year-old to take a selfie
Well,
and then
With
Well,
a
it
text.
photo
gets-
ID.
Holding your driver's license and a piece of paper stating I'm alive. So get out of shit. 8.5 by 11. I'm alive.
and hold it in the same hand as your driver's license as you take your selfie, and then figure out
Well,
how
maybe
to send it.
maybe someone else
Like
can
that's
take
a
the picture
lot to
for her.
ask even of me.
Well, okay. Now, the Social Security says 1/3 of 1% of the reported deaths each year get recorded incorrectly.
A
Wow.
third of them?
And her last name
no,
is
a
Smith.
third of 1%.
Oh, a third of 1%.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So no, not a third death. That would be
okay.
crazy.
I'm sure there are a lot of Barbara Smiths, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it has to do with transpiring the wrong number.
Uh,
Who knows?
So that works out to about 10,000 people a year run into this issue, possibly going through what Barbara Smith just did. That they gotta. He really
Not dead yet.
makes you want to run and go work for the Social Security Administration. Imagine taking these calls.
Yeah.
I'm not dead yet. That's
Yeah. Hello.
That was a whole All in the Family episode that back in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Where they declared him dead, and the rigmarole they had to go through then to try to get him undead. It's just, of course, they did it for laughs, of course, but I'm sure it does happen.
Mistakes happen. What an unfortunate mistake for this poor woman.
I hope she gets all her money back.
And the way I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
right. She should get
Sure.
retroactive. She should. Right.
She should.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, okay, so this person's dead. Who's getting the checks? Or is nobody getting
Nobody
the checks?
No
gets
one's
the
They're just
checks
holding on to
because they're dead,
Um,
but they're not.
they stopped sending her monthly checks in September. It's all done by computers, I
Right.
guess.
And if that's all she's getting,
We know she's dead.
She's on a fixed income.
Stop sending checks.
Oh
And
my
then her bank
goodness.
account was frozen.
What do you do?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
them. Open another bank account.
Well,
I can't. I'm dead.
In case you
No,
were
I'm not.
wondering, and I don't think you were, but just in case, the mascot for the University of Texas Longhorns, Bevo, B-E-V-O, will be on the sidelines at AT&T Stadium for the Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
This is a real Longhorn. It's not someone in
Oh,
a
it's an
costume.
actual-
It's an actual bull, basically.
What
It's
could
an
go
animal.
wrong?
With the really long horns.
What could go wrong?
Now, University of Texas will square off against Ohio State on January 10th in the college football playoff semifinals. Bevo had to miss the SEC championship game and the Peach Bowl, which were both held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta because of sideline crowd concerns. But Bevo and his handlers are familiar with the setup at AT&T Stadium. So if Texas beats Ohio State and earns a spot in the national championship game, however, Bevo will most likely have to stay home again. The championship game will be back in Atlanta on January 20th. So I guess the sidelines are much smaller in Atlanta than they are in Texas.
Well, if they put him in a cage or restrain him
they
sufficiently,
don't.
but if they did,
Yeah.
as a compromise, you have PETA all over it.
No, because Peters come in because sometimes like Penn State, theirs is the Nittany Lions. They'll have a lion in a cage and they reel it out into the,
Well, I can
stands.
understand
Everybody goes,
that, but
everybody goes yay,
it's
and
a-
then they wheel them
terrible.
away.
Yeah, but it's
to go
against
back.
Ohio law to have a nittany in a cage.
So, so the longhorn, you just got to keep feeding it, I guess. And
Doesn't seem like a good idea, but just have a person in a costume like dancing around. That's
But it's like, University of Georgia, they're the Bulldogs.
I know
and
the
they have-
Bulldogs.
They have they have a little dog,
I know.
and they bring it. He comes out to all the games.
Yeah, a little bit different because
Although
he's
there is some
domesticated
although
animal,
I
but
do think there is a person in a bulldog outfit.
probably
I don't think maybe they don't have
In addition to?
in addition to the real animal.
they
So,
definitely have. But it's a domesticated animal.
cheerleading
It's not
it's
a
different.
giant.
But he is on a leash.
Hundreds. Right.
It's not a 3,000-pound animal just roaming around.
With a mind of its own.
Right. Okay, that'll do it for the
that you
show for
can't
today.
reason with.
Don't make him angry.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, and we appreciate it as always. Melissa, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone.
All right, Dave, thanks for coming in.
It's been a blast. I've been misbehaving for a whole hour. Now I got to go do my job.
All right, I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Stay tuned for Leslie Page at the Library is coming up next, followed by Food First with Karen
Hi,
Zane
Leslie.
Gary. We have the Tiki Bar tonight at 6 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Officials in East Providence say that funds from the American Rescue Plan Act will be going toward restoring Newman Cemetery. The city said $50,000 will be used for the project, which is scheduled to begin when the weather breaks in the spring. More than 100 grave markers are scheduled to be repaired there. TNT Gravestone Solutions out of Westport, Massachusetts.